So the concentration camps for migrant people and children that were in operation under Donald Trump's administration are still very much in place under the Biden administration, and conditions in these are, again, fucking horrible and disgusting. Over 4,000 migrants, many kids, crowded into Texas facility. Um, and again, when you when this type of stuff is covered and this AP article doesn't address it at all, it's like, okay, these people are trying to come to the US to create a better life for themselves and for their kids. Why are they doing that? What are the conditions in their home countries that would lead them to do that? What role has the US empire played in that? A lot. A lot of the reasons that people maybe are fleeing violence or poverty or various conditions in their home countries are a direct result of policies of the US government. For example, in the 2009 coup in Honduras, which again, that was the Biden-Obama administration, and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was a huge supporter of it, and the U.S. government, the U.S. empire, the military-industrial complex were huge in facilitating this, overthrowing the democratically elected president of Manuel Zelaya. Yep. The military officials needed friends in the U.S. to rally behind it. Americans were wary of open shows of support. 200 colonels were dispatched to Washington on a mission to convince the Americans that the Honduran military involvement in the coup was in fact constitutional. I mean, Jesus Christ. And this is what the Obama-Biden administration, particularly Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, was a huge supporter of. So that's just obviously one example in one country. And then you take something like the war on drugs in Mexico. That's obviously leading to increased amounts of violence and instability in that country because of the U.S.'s ridiculous war on drugs, which again is just a war on people, which is hugely racist and classist at its core, and will obviously disproportionately impact the most vulnerable and marginalized people, both in Mexico and in the United States. Or you take things like NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, which decimated, agricultural workers in Mexico because, this cheap, let's say, GMO corn from the U.S. would be just dumped into their markets, totally devastating, agriculture for those people there. So the U.S. has a huge role to play in for why these migrants are trying to, come to the U.S. to make a better life for themselves. But that's not being addressed, and then when they get here, again, they are being placed in these fucking concentration camps at the border that, again, 4,000 migrants crowded into a Texas facility during a fucking pandemic. I mean, look at this. This is from the AP. Look at that. Like, packed in there, like, it's disgusting. If it was a concentration camp under Trump, it's a concentration camp under Biden, okay? Into a space intended for 4,000 people. It's fucking disgusting. Abolish ICE, abolish DHS. All they did was cross an imaginary line, you know?
All of these kids that you see here behind me are unaccompanied little children. They vary from different ages. These are probably of the young.
What he doesn't say is that a majority, if not a vast majority, of those kids have family, have relatives, have somebody that they could stay with within the U.S. But instead, they're being kept in this concentration camp. I mean, it's disgusting.
We have currently in custody, and these kids cross by themselves. The parent pays a fee to the smuggler, the cartel member, or the smuggler at this point will bring them to the river.
I mean, imagine how bad the conditions have to be for a parent to send their little kid across into an unknown country. But again, they're often sending them to family members who are already in the U.S.
We'll hand them over to the raft. We'll place them in a raft and say, "Okay, go." When you get to the other side, they'll explain to them. There's going to be an officer. They'll explain what we wear and tell them, "Turn yourselves in to them." If there isn't a consequence,
Look at that.
we're going to have the flow is going to increase.
So this is, of course, this dude works at fucking Border Patrol, and his response is, "No, we gotta find some ways to deter these people. I don't know whether it's alligators or some type of mode or electric fence. Then they're just gonna keep coming." It's like that's not. It doesn't make any fucking sense. If you really want to stop this from happening, then you need to address the political and economic realities that these people are facing in their home countries. And the U.S. is a huge part of that. So if we really wanted to prevent these people from coming to the U.S., you need to create conditions in their home countries that are livable and sustainable, where they have, all the basic necessities of life taken care of for them, obviously. And then, the Border Patrol's perspective is like, no, we need to find ways to make this so hard to just punish them that they don't want to come. I mean, that's shit's not any different than fucking Trump. So there's a lot of better ways to be handling this than putting these kids and families in concentration camps at the border. How many, and again, a lot of these kids have family members or friends, relatives within the U.S. that they could go and stay with. There's no reason to be cramming them into this concentration camp. 4,000 people in a space meant for 250 during a fucking pandemic. I mean, Jesus Christ. The U.S. put somebody on the fucking moon, unless, you believe in the conspiracy theory that was made up. We could find a fucking way to work with these people and provide them resources and housing and not put them in a fucking concentration camp, okay? It's not that fucking difficult. Fuck, how many houses are vacant in the U.S.? Like millions, right? Jesus Christ, it's disgusting. Again, this type of shit was happening under Trump. It was fucked up and disgusting then, and it's just as fucked up and disgusting now that it's happening under the Biden administration. Abolish DHS, abolish ICE, free them all. Like the video if you like the damn video. Peace, much love, subscribe for more content.